Hey there everyone. Lately I've noticed a bit of a problem a lot of the time when playing Last Titan Standing. The majority of players don't actually seem to understand the win conditions of Last Titan Standing and how to close out games that come to the very last few seconds of the match and deplete the round timer. Your goal isn't always to kill off the enemy team. You don't always have to or even want to win by going on full offense. It's important to keep all your options open, so let's take a look at what those are. As I'm sure you've noticed, every round in LTS has a timer. When this timer reaches 30 seconds, every Titan on the map is revealed for a short period of time. This helps to prevent those awkward situations where you're down to one Titan left on each team and they can't find each other. When the timer reaches 0, the game checks for two major variables to determine a winner for the round. First, the game checks for which team has more Titans than the other. The number of pilots doesn't matter. The team with more Titans surviving is the one that will win. If there are an equal number of Titans, the game checks to see which team's Titans have the highest additive percentage of health. One minor exception is if there are 0 pilots remaining on a team, then that team will lose instantly. Otherwise, one or more pilots makes no difference for determining a winner. Before we get too deep into that second situation, let's just briefly go over some strategies for winning on Titan counts alone. Battery control in LTS is key. It's imperative that your team grabs batteries whenever feasible. If you're ever able to create an opening where it's possible to grab one, you'd better have Stim and Phase Embark ready to go and make that happen as quickly as you possibly can. Get your Titan on guard mode the moment you exit so it doesn't do something stupid, and you'll have a huge advantage over the enemy team. Accomplish this by pressing whichever button you use to drop your Titan. You'll see a shield icon appear in the bottom left of your screen. So, to clarify, you must exit your Titan first. While you're a pilot, you press your Titan drop button to cycle your Titan into guard mode. You will hear an audio cue of a little tick, as well as your Titan saying something along the lines of entering guard mode. Once you start playing for batteries a little bit more aggressively, you'll start getting a feel for how long it takes batteries to respawn on the map. Generally, once a battery is plucked from the stand, it'll take 1 minute for the stand to generate a brand new battery to be picked up. So it's not like there's only 2 or 3 batteries in the map, period, ever. They will respawn over time. When you get really good at LTS, you're going to preemptively exit your Titan before the battery even respawns, pretty much grabbing it in stride within a couple seconds of it actually returning. You are going to be able to predict those respawn times. If you watch me on stream, you see me call that out all the time, where I get out of my Titan and say, okay, battery's back in 30, battery back in 20, battery back in 10, battery back like really soon. And you'll see me get out, run over, pick up the battery, and then get back in. And it's really, really cool when you can time it just perfectly. If you can master this technique, long-term survival of your Titan is pretty much assured. Moving past the battery mechanics, there are other ways to ensure that your team maintains a higher Titan count than the opposing team. For starters, get rid of Assault Ship and auto-eject completely. The former gives you literally 0 benefit because you're going to be too busy actually piloting your Titan, while the latter actively hurts your team. You're willingly removing the doom state from your Titan, giving the enemy team easier kills. While ensuring your survival as a pilot is important, in LTS you really need to stick to manual ejection to keep your Titan count maxed out for as long as you possibly can. The idea here is this: if you're doomed, you want to stay on the backline as far out of danger as possible while still contributing to the fight. If you're in the last 1 minute of the round, consider exiting your Titan and leaving it on guard mode in a hidden, awkward location, somewhere that's very much so defensible by you and your team. This way, you pose no risk to your team of your Titan getting picked off by a North Star snipe. You can instead move more quickly as a pilot and harass enemy Titans, chipping away at their health with absolutely no recourse if you die. Again, the number of surviving pilots is completely irrelevant to determining a winner in LTS. If the timer hits 0, the game only cares about the number of Titans that are left. Use your anti-Titan weapon to get as much damage as you possibly can, or put a battery into a teammate if the opportunity presents itself. Both are very high value for your team with no risk at all, so use the end of the round to make use of your pilot abilities. Just whatever you do, don't eject unless you get yourself into a situation that absolutely requires it. That's going to happen a lot of the time, don't get me wrong, even if you're playing perfectly, so don't feel like you're failing your team if you are in a situation where you have to do it. Just remember that if you get doomed but are able to get away reasonably, do everything in your power to prevent the enemy team from finishing your Doom Titan off. Just get out of it, leave it in a weird corner, and start playing as a pilot. Hopefully that Titan will survive the end of the round, and if it does make it to a timed battle, your Titan count will be the difference to win you the round. Let's move on to the situations where you have the same number of Titans on each team in the last few moments of a match. You've got to keep track of roughly how much health the enemy team has. This is visually apparent from how individual Titans look. If they've got a bunch of plates of armor missing from its arms and legs and it's on fire, it's probably pretty weak. Obviously, knowing the exact numbers is not even remotely reasonable here, so just stay in communication with your team if you've got a mic. You've got to make a judgment call on which team you think has more health overall, and stick with whichever decision that you make. Either do your best to peek around corners and plink the enemy team's health down, or go on full defense and just get yourself into a hard-to-reach spot while praying that your team does in fact have enough health to pull out the win. Again, swapping to pilot mode might be a good idea here, as long as you're not the only pilot left on your team. As a reminder, you will lose instantly if you have 0 pilots alive. However, any non-zero number of pilots will keep you in the game. Use your pilots to your advantage to get free damage on enemy Titans without running the risk of life totals being dropped on friendly Titans. It's really important to note how the game calculates health when deciding a winner in LTS as well. The game will not take a raw health value from each Titan and decide who wins based upon that. Instead, it looks at the percentage of health that each Titan has, then adds them up across every Titan on a team to determine a winner. For example, if you've got a Ronin versus a Scorch in a 1 versus 1, and neither Titan deals any damage to each other, the match results in a draw. Scorch has more health than Ronin, but they're both at 100%, so the game is considered to be even. If you have a North Star and a Scorch punch each other once each, then let the game end on time, the Scorch will win because it has a higher percentage of health remaining than the North Star. One would assume then that this also applies to the Doom State, but for some reason it doesn't. The amount of health you have in the Doom State does not matter when calculating winners based upon health. A doomed Titan with some HP missing has the exact same value as a doomed Titan with full HP. Keep this in mind when trying to estimate health totals of each team in those last second scenarios. Anyways, everyone, that's pretty much the fundamentals of how it all works. All of this doesn't mean that you're supposed to win every game in the timer and play a very slow and defensive style with like 5 tones, alternating particle walls, but it does mean that sometimes you're going to be in a very even fight and you've got to know how to squeeze as much value out of a round as you possibly can in order to wrestle a win against impossible odds. If you learn nothing else from this video, please, for the love of Gaben, stop using Assault Ship and auto-eject in Last Titan Standing. I implore you. Just use the extra dash kit, or if you don't feel like you need it, pick up the newly buffed Overcore and go to town on people, or even grab double Electric Smoke. I am personally a really big fan of double smoke on both North Star and Ronin. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope that you've learned something new today. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section down below, and I'll do my best to keep up with them and help you out. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.